What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the chronically charismatic Dr. Disaster, and it is unreal how basically every time a video game comes out these days that is not a part of the corporate messaging machine, it gets attacked by the Wokescolds infesting the industry because they are under the impression that they can control what we consume.
Sheer hubris.
A perfect example of this is what was done with Black Myth Wukong last year. Gamers loved that game, and it sold like frickin' crazy. Right before Black Myth came out though, the Chinese studio that made it, Game Science, who is not a part of the Good Old Boys Club, they were attacked by a series of hit pieces from game journalists claiming that the people working at the studio were a bunch of sexists because they didn't embrace feminism and there weren't enough female characters in the game for the liking of the game journalist shitlibs. But Game Science didn't just roll over, they simply echoed the sentiments of gamers in response to these accusations.
How could you? I'm a woman.
I don't care.
The accusations against Game Science did nothing to stop Black Myth Wukong from dominating in the same way that the accusations that we're seeing right now from Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and their developing studio Sandfall will have no effect on them either, which is likely pretty upsetting to these Wokescold jackasses.
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, yummy.
Yeah, we have a series of accusations that Sandfall is racist because there are too many white people working for them. Imagine that. A European business has ethnically European people working there at a majority level. How odd, right? But always remember that ultimately, the Wokescolds trying to maintain their grip over the industry are talentless hacks who can't build anything of their own that people actually like and will pay for. They can only latch on to the success of others, injecting their shitwater ideas onto someone else's ideas like an aggressive cancer. And if it doesn't work, if that isn't allowed, then they attempt to weaponize fear and identity politics to get people canceled. Fortunately, Sandfall can safely ignore them because these days the power of these idiots has waned significantly. Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a member for as little as $5 per month. There is a Space Pirate cartoon that I'm working on that will be coming out for channel members first, and channel members got early access to the audiobook of the first part of the novel that I've written, a dark fantasy story called The Darkest Heritage. Speaking of which, that initial audiobook is being released to the general public this afternoon. It is narrated by me, and I've gotten some great feedback on the book, so I think you'll really enjoy it. Make sure to check it out. But anyways, let's talk about the accusations being levied against the developers of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This tweet here from Pirate Nation gives us the summary of what is being said about the studio. It says here, French leftists are trying to cancel devs of Clair Obscur with accusations of racism. They're grasping at straws such as Sandfall consisting of white devs. They're peddling conspiracies that Sandfall are racists and are gatekeeping non-whites and non-French from working at the studio. They're saying that Sandfall consists of the bigots who were expelled from Ubisoft after its workplace harassment drama. They said that Sandfall is racist because the sole black Expedition 33 member dies early on in the game, and they've said that the game somehow has a nationalistic and patriotic agenda which is meant to appeal to fascists. Now, I'm not going to go through these claims and argue against them based on the merits, because frankly, these bozos do not deserve the time of day, but it's worth noting that the official Sandfall X account has replied to these accusations, and if I'm being honest, it was much too soft. Their reply was much too soft for my liking. Ignoring these idiot accusers would have been the much better play, but I do understand that Sandfall is just trying to keep the peace. They wrote here, "We've noticed discussions online concerning us and our values, so we want to make this absolutely clear. Expedition 33 was created with respect and tolerance by teams and partners from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and perspectives. Our game was crafted with love. Please don't weaponize it to spread hate." Now, like I said, that is much too soft. The language that they use supposes that the people making the accusations actually have the power to affect them, but it simply isn't true. Gamers leapt to the defense of this game in the replies because the game is pretty well loved. I mean, look at these numbers. This brand new AA Studios game peaked at 145,000 players on Steam. They have a review score of 95% positive on Steam right now. They are still the 14th top seller on the platform almost 2 months after release. Their Metacritic scores are off the charts, and hell, over on VG Analytics, they are estimating that the game has sold over 3 million copies on Steam alone. Everybody loves Clair Obscur, which is why these shitlib losers are attacking them in the first place. To be clear, a few years ago, Sandfall would have been accused, game journalists would have written hundreds of hit pieces, and the studio would have likely felt compelled to hire a whole bunch of outside consultants to purify themselves in the eyes of the zealots. The company would have been hollowed out then to the point that the next game would have been preachy and insufferable, and then gamers would have been blamed for not liking it when it came out. But this isn't going to work now because the power dynamic has changed, and it is very clear. The lowly gamers who are sick of what these activists have done and what they are still continuing to attempt to do, we, the lowly gamers, have the power to tank games by simply not buying them. Look at what happened last year to Star Wars Outlaws, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and even this year with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Those games irked gamers for various reasons, and then they flopped. Gamers spoke with our wallets. Meanwhile, these activists speak with their social media posts and their hit piece articles, and it generally doesn't do a damn thing. As I said, they failed to take down Black Myth Wukong. They tried the same sort of thing with Stellar Blade, accusing Shift Up of racism, saying that Eve being so good looking was somehow hurting women, but it didn't do a damn thing. The game sold like crazy on PS5. It is expected to sell even better on PC when it releases next week. The power of these Wokescolds is waning. My guess is that the biggest setback that this whole thing will amount to for Clair Obscur is that it won't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, even though, at this point, it ought to be considered the frontrunner. Last year, Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade weren't even nominated. Clair Obscur will likely still get a nomination because gamers liked it so well, but I doubt the game will win the award because it's a small studio and now it has been given the black mark of racism that game journalists recognize as making it their enemy. Who knows though, maybe even these game journalists who do the real voting for the Game of the Year awards, maybe they will ignore this particular black mark when the time comes, because maybe even they will be able to sense the shift in gaming culture. Only time will tell, but Sandfall needs to just ignore these whining leftist doofuses in the meantime. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery and contempt for the Wokescolds into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.